I'm Chase Rolfson with Rubline Marketing.
This is Jeff Lindsay.
This is Michael Pitt.
Hey everybody, it's John Dudley from Knock on TV.
Hey guys, this is Jared Scheffler from Whitetail Adrenaline.
Hi, I'm Taylor Drury from Drury Outdoors.
Hey, this is Nick Munt from Bone Collector.
Hey, this is Melissa Buckman.
Working Class Bow Hunter.
Working Class Bow Hunter. Working Class Bow Hunter Podcast.
Working Class Bow Hunter Podcast. Working Class Bow Hunter.
Working Class Bow Hunter.
Working Class Bow Hunter.
You're listening to the Working Class Bow Hunter. That's right, this is a podcast for Billy Joe Lunchbucket, the working man, just like me and you. My name's Travis T-Bone Turner from the Bone Collector. Thank you for tuning in.
Nobody pushes the envelope like Working Class Bow Hunter.
It's really not that good.
Those people on that pod, those hosts are a little unhinged.
Working Class. Working Class.
Working Class Bow Hunter.
WCB Pod, episode 693. We think. Kurt Geyer speaking.
Eric Hammond.
Doug Schmidt.
Austin Chandler.
Ross Baker.
Scott Sullivan.
Snort Scotty.
Oh.
Man, the crew's in here.
We got a full house.
And Scotty.
Full house.
Yeah.
It's got it. It's awesome.
Hey, Ross.
Oh, hey.
Sounds like a bad video.
The hell have you been?
I don't know. Just hiding out.
Okay. Good to see you.
Ross is here.
Ross is here, people.
Ross wasn't here too long ago.
Yeah.
The Mountain Ops episode you were in here.
Yeah, I dipped in for a minute, but yeah.
Well, we got some
Nice
gear.
to be back, though.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about. A little season update. Really a season update for Austin. That's why everyone's here and clicked on it. First of all, shout out to everybody that has been tagging us and sharing their 2024 Spotify Wrapped info and a lot of top 5 WCB shows for a lot of people. So thank you for that support. Thank you for everybody who supported us on our Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale.
Yeah, it was a big sale, so
Appreciate that. Yeah, big time. January 25th, we'll be in Winchester, Ohio, partying with Blackgate and other great people, and Cody Christian's playing. I think we're going to do a live podcast. So
we got to say thank you, too, for everyone that bought a bottle of Kill Bottle.
yes, a lot of thank yous to dish out.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are starting to get them. They're showing up at their doorstep, so it's awesome.
Yep. Very cool. I'm hoping this launches what was the big time increase until the end of December? That's 30%. 30% off using the WCB 2024 code.
Yep.
That code is also changing. Obviously, WCB 2025. Joe wanted to extend a huge thank you to everybody who has bought big time this year. That's straight from Joe. We had a meeting yesterday.
Yep.
And he just wanted to shout out to the WCB listener family that they're blown away by the support from WCB.
So that's from now till the end of the year.
Yep. So
30% off.
I don't know when this launches, how much leeway that'll give us. But a couple other major announcement for WCB. There's some changes going on the business side of things.
Yep.
First thing going forward, Grizzly has been a partner of ours for a long time. Grizzly coolers, Grizzly drinkware, hunting blinds. Now they're rocking gear bags and all sorts of just awesome top-notch stuff. I mean, how many SKUs they have, I don't know. It's insane. Jake Powers has joined that family.
Yep.
Which is awesome. And Grizzly title sponsors Hunting the Mason-Dixon, which is one of our podcasts, The Victory Drive, and Tackle and Tacos. And they are now the official big dog title sponsor of the Working Class Bow Hunter podcast.
Nice.
So thank you, Grizzly.
Thank you, Grizzly.
everyone who
Jeremy.
supports
Thank
Grizzly.
you, everybody over there.
Yeah, we're stoked to have that. They've supported everything we've done.
Yes, absolutely.
Since we started that relationship, when we fired off these new podcasts, from day one, they're like, we're in, we got your back, we love you guys, and we love them back. And I jokingly was like, world domination, talking about them in some past episode ads. And yeah, I hope so, because they're awesome. Everything they've said they're going to do, in our entire relationship, they've fucking done it.
Yep.
And that spot became available, and they were just like, yeah, we want it. We got your back 100%, and we're very thankful to have that. So looking forward to strengthening that relationship and having a title partner that really supports us how a title partner should. So big shout out to Grizzly, code WCB at Grizzly. It works on everything. We're so stoked for that.
Yeah.
That's huge for us.
Yep.
So thank you guys for the support there. That's a great business move. One other thing that has changed as of the same time frame, basically, is this will probably be like a shocker, I think, to a lot of people, but I think it's worth talking through. We are no longer working with Elite Archery. That might be like, what? We worked with Elite for going on 9 years.
Been a while.
Yeah.
You know, I've shot Elite. I grew up shooting Hoyt, got my first Elite in 2015, switched back to a Hoyt in 2016, started shooting, and we shot Elite basically
Ever since then.
Yeah, 2017 nonstop every year. They were our title partner for a long time, and there's some changes going on there, and basically love the product, love the bows, shot the bows, still love the bows, still love what they do and what they're doing with that, and don't regret any of it. It was a great
Yeah,
run.
it was awesome.
And so I want like no bad blood or anything, just change of pace. We couldn't come on to an agreement, and they have some things changing on the back end over there at Elite. And we basically, with that being said, we didn't feel comfortable re-signing a contract that was going to have us knowing we weren't going to be there for the long haul. And trying to sell you guys on a brand and people. Like, love the product, but we have to love all the people behind it and have that family feel for it to be a partner of ours.
Absolutely.
And that's always been number one with us, and we hold true to that value, and we don't skew off it. And so basically we didn't want to renew and have that feeling in the back of our heads that we wasn't going to be as long lasting as we can make it, and feel guilty trying to sell you guys on stuff, and then you guys get into the stuff, and then all of a sudden at the end of the year we're like, yeah, we knew it was coming and we left.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Right.
And I hope that comes across clear.
Yeah.
So, but it was a great run. I mean, almost a decade working with Elite Archery. So right now we are free agents in the bow game. I'm excited. We're going to go shoot some bows and explore what's out there and see what we like.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to go to a few bow shops and probably have some fun and test drive some stuff, you know, kind of like single and ready to mingle.
Hey, yo.
Kind of hot ladies, bow ladies are out there.
Well, it sounds like
For you, not for us.
right.
For bows.
For the bows.
For bows.
For bows, yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it on the bows.
So
All the bows.
So we'll see. But anyway,
where the bows at?
I just get that out of the way, diminish any rumors. There's no bad blood. We don't hate Elite. Just things were changing and we weren't jiving, and we decided to not do it again.
Go our separate ways.
Yeah. So hopefully that just makes it as clear as it can be. And I don't know. I guess it's just honest.
Yeah.
If we made up more bullshit about it, it would more bullshit, any bullshit, then it'd be a lie. So that's just what it is.
I think it opens up new doors too. I mean, we're just go out there and shoot different bows, and we can all come back here and talk about which bow we liked and didn't like. And I mean, it opens up everything.
At the end of the day, though, what really matters is what feels good to you. You know, like there's some brand bias always. I think when people shoot bows, like when we talked when Ruthless Archery was in, it's like he's like, all I've ever shot is Matthews, and we kind of talked like you get like gear snoods who come in and like, oh, you're snooty on your high horse judging somebody else for a bow they have. Like, it's just insane.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, long ramble about it.
That's all right.
I don't know if you guys want to add anything, but
no, it was a good run. I mean, but like you said, we just didn't come to agreement and went our separate ways.
Yeah, opens the door for new stuff, new beginnings.
What could happen?
The world is ours.
Kind of like, let's go to the club, you know?
Dang.
See what's out there.
Get some bottle service.
Sniff around a little bit.
Yeah. Is there an app that you can go like swipe different bow brands and see like what you might want to hook up with and just see if you like it?
Swipe right.
Bender.
What?
Bender. Bow tender.
Yeah, it needs some work. Okay. Anyway, there's that. So two big announcements. Now that we beat that to death, the podcast, obviously big time Huntworth gear, Old Barn Taxidermy. We got them busy this season. Trophyline, Blackgate Trail Cameras. They're co-hosting the Whitetail Social with us in January. Hope to see you. Black Ovis and Camo Fire, Novix Treestands, Mountain Ops, DeerCast, Leupold, Aluma, Victory Arrows, Dialed Archery, Rogue Ridge, and Rat Cub. So a lot of these partners are also providing giveaways for the Whitetail Social in January. So
sweet.
Very thankful for everybody in the support and supporting our partners. So now that I've just taken a bat and beat that whole intro to death.
Yeah.
We just wanted to
We're
make
good.
it as clear as possible what was happening.
You're gonna have a lot of people wanting to know what's
Yeah,
going
I'm
on.
sure
So I think we made it
the
pretty
rumor
clear
mill
there.
would go around, but
Yeah, I just want to say thank you again for the Black Friday sale. I mean, it's been super busy around here. Give me a chance to catch up. There was a lot of orders, and then also for the store, there's a lot of new stuff coming. We're changing up a little bit.
You're wearing a little teaser right now.
Oh,
yeah, what the hell?
we got to blur that out.
Oh shit.
We got some new machinery in the podcast that we can make our own patches and stuff now. So
Yeah.
We tested the shit out of it.
It's called child labor.
we bought a laser, and we just spent anything we could laser in the studio. It's got laser.
I just got my work boot engraved. Honestly.
Yeah.
Custom work boot engraving.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of good things coming.
Yeah, we hauled out a lot of orders. So that was pretty cool to see. I think we're going to be at NWTF. We're doing, that's an 80% yes, we'll be at NWTF. Not 100% though. And then we're going to be at, what else are we selling merch at? The Iowa Deer Classic.
Yep.
We'll be at the Ohio Deer Classic, and we'll be at the Illinois Deer Classic, and we'll be at ATA for a night.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's where we'll be with merch.
We'll see you there.
I hope.
That's all I got to say about that.
You gonna be there?
I'll be there.
All right, to the episode.
Here we go.
What's up, Austin? Why y'all shaved all like you were at the vet?
Trying to be like Doug.
Like you're at the vet.
You did better than me, though, when you did it.
Hey, you didn't go Britney Spears 06 like I did.
No, I didn't. I had to try something a little different. So I'm a handlebar fan. I had the handlebars shaved in to begin with, but it just didn't bring the luck that I needed.
Okay.
So I had to knock it down a little bit more.
So
go into Doug mode.
I inspired all this though.
You
because
did?
Lee went full blown neck beard and it worked.
When was the date when I would have done that? We had just podcasted and talked about it, and it was like a day or two after that when I shaved.
I think it was the next day, wasn't it? They had the handlebars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I shaved, it was like 2 days and I killed a deer. And then Lee shaved and killed one that night or the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
So there's like a 3-day grace period on the Britney Spears 06 method.
Yeah, the handlebars didn't work. Once I got rid of them, I think it was like a couple days after that shit started happening.
Yeah.
The big bucks just started appearing on camera. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Making Play-Doh snakes over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it worked.
It worked.
So you tell us, all right, give us a build up of your season up until the first deer.
Well, it kind of started last season. I feel like I kind of got out of my rhythm last season. I made a bad call on a big deer, didn't hunt him, didn't think he was old enough, and then I picked his shed up this spring, and I'm like,
where is that shed?
I didn't bring it. So I'm talking about a different deer right now. So this deer that I ended up passing up was a monster 10-point with split brows. He's in the mid-70s, and I fucked up and didn't hunt him last year. So after that, going forward, I'm like, this is my number one. Like, this deer's going to be my first 200. This thing's going to be huge. Went through the summer, got into July, and got my first picture of him, and he's dropped like 20 inches on the one side. He's like short tine. The left side looks almost identical to last year, and the right side's like turted out, like little 4 or 5 inch tines. I'm like,
He got hurt or something?
so he did get hurt. He was limping last year and dropped his sheds early. So I think that probably affected his rack.
Sounds like 9 lives.
Yeah, but he was still a really cool deer. He had 6 brow tines, super heavy, narrow, just a badass looking deer. He's probably still close to 160.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, I'm still going to hunt that deer. Like, I'm going to go after this deer. This is my big target for this year. Got into season. I'm a farmer, so I had to work till probably the 25th of October is when I got done. I'm still getting pictures of this deer. It was right around the 25th when I quit getting pictures of him. And my neighbor to the east called me or sent me a picture. It was like right around the first week in November, and it was that buck dead, laying on his farm.
He didn't shoot it. He found it.
He didn't shoot it. I don't know if he got poached, like shot from the road, or if it was EHD. I'm not sure what happened. He had kind of a suspicious mark where the coyote had been chewing behind the shoulder, so I'm almost suspecting that he'd been shot. And it is possible where he found him dead that somebody could have seen him from a road. So
that first of all is insane, and if you've ever done that and you're listening, I hope you get in a car crash.
Yeah, it's just, well, it takes it away from the people that work for it all year.
sure.
You know, we look forward to hunting that animal all year.
Well, you're
and
robbing from other hunters. You're robbing from the resource. You're
just a waste.
Yeah, it's
And
a waste.
I still don't get it because it's like, okay, you shoot that it's staying on the field and then you drive away. Like, what's
You didn't even go get it.
what the hell's the point?
Right.
Just
yeah.
idiots. Anyway.
So I called up the game warden, who I've kind of developed a good relationship with. I've got a salvage tag for a couple other deer. Called him, told him the story. He brought me down a tag, and just a bummer, you know. So that was a kick in the balls right off the get-go. Like, that was the big deer I was after. That was the deer I wanted to target. So it's like, fuck, all right, that's going to change up the plans for the season a little bit. I'd had a lot of really good deer on the pasture. The pasture is my favorite farm to deer hunt on. That's where I kill most of my deer. And I was getting pictures of an 8-pointer that basically hadn't grown an inch. He looked identical to what he was last year, and I would have killed him last year. He's just kind of a bully, just an old warrior 8-pointer that was never going to amount to anything. He's probably 5 years old last year, probably 6 this year. And then I had this big 9-pointer we're looking at. I knew him from the year past. He was 4 years old last year. I passed him quite a bit. So I had those 2 deer were kind of like the deer that I wanted to go after this season on that farm. And I grinded, man. I started hunting.
What's this picture?
You had to pull up the worst one.
You uploaded it.
Like, looking at the camera like,
You uploaded it.
He's trying to show off that stash.
there's the one you need to show.
There you go.
So I called this I called this buck Cody's 8 because I kind of wanted Cody to shoot him. Like, with the season starting out, I'm like, man, I got this old bully 8. I want him out of there. And Cody, you're up to bat. Like, this is your buck. This thing's massive.
Yeah.
So I had him all stoked. Long story short,
You killed him.
Shoot him.
he hit a doe. Cody hit a doe far back in the early season, and it just kind of took the edge off. Like, he's like, I don't know if I want to go back out. So I'm like, all right, no hurry, bud. Like, last thing I want to do is burn him out. So
Yeah, you don't
like,
want him to
that's
get
fine.
discouraged too much.
We'll wait, you know, we'll go back out when you feel like it. So
Daddy's turn.
I got several pictures of this deer, probably 10, 15 trail camera pictures of him through the season. He was always kind of hanging on the east side of the farm like he did last year. And, man, I was grinding between this deer and the 8-pointer. Those were the 2 old deer on the farm I wanted to take out. And it got down to, when was it? When I shot this deer on the
Cut that shit out, dude.
I shot this deer on the 29th of November. So I was looking ahead. I was seeing this weather was coming in. It's starting to get cold here, probably around the 25th of November. And I called to verify this with the game warden just to make sure. I'm like, it is legal to shred corn. We had this conversation last year. He's like, yes, the way I interpret the law, it is legal to shred corn with a mower and hunt over it. It's a common agricultural practice, the way he interprets it. Mm-hmm. With a mustache. That's the real kicker right there.
He's like, well, you got a mustache? Or
Seems
what?
a little sketchy.
Yeah. What's the measure? I'm like, yes, I have a mustache. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you're
There's
fine.
an asterisk behind it.
So I just wanted to double check and be safe, make sure that I was legal to do that. And he gave me the green light. So I went in.
First of all, mad props. Same thing with like your buck story last year, Eric, when you called about recovery. You called the game commission office, and then it caused a stir up. I was like, well, you told me. I called. If you can't interpret clearly if it's legal or illegal, turns out it's fucking legal. Because if you don't know, then how the fuck is it going to hold up? Anyway, that's my frustration with the game commission.
Well, it's kind of a gray area, and I've seen it interpreted both ways. And honestly, think you could probably talk to 3 different game wardens and get 3 different answers on it.
100%.
But the guy that I'm going to be dealing with says I'm good to go with it. So
then that's all that matters.
Then I'm good to go.
Yeah.
So I drive the tractor over there. I got my batwing on the back, and I got this. Basically, it's a 5-acre long corn plot set up in front of this blind. I bring the 10-foot batwing over there, and I shred a road basically 30 yards right in front of this blind up to where I know they come out of the timber and all the way back. So I'm basically double pass all the way through, runs them right in front of the blind. And I sat in this thing basically right after I had shredded that hole out. And it was, well, I shredded the hole out like 3 days earlier. And then I went in and freshened it up again, and I wore my camo in. I get up in the blind, and as soon as, I wasn't there 30 minutes, and the deer just start coming out.
Start pouring out of there.
So you made a pass back and forth, and then parked the tractor, and then climbed the blind.
Yep. Walked 150 yards back into the blind, and it's like as soon as I got up in there, these deer are starting to come out of the woodwork. It's like, this is money.
They're like in their bed. There's like,
I smell corn.
Corn dust in the air. They come out itching.
I hear that more again.
Yeah. Well, all the corn dragons came out of the woods.
Time.
Anybody that hunts in the Midwest knows the best time to hunt a cornfield is like the night or two after you harvest it. So there's something about that fresh cut corn.
Yep.
They're just going ape shit over
Yeah, you
it.
pretty much harvested that corn with a gleaner.
And you left it, it all on the ground, minus the blue glass. I mean, that's pretty much what happened.
The blue glass.
The losses were high. Anticipation high, losses high, success.
But you could see that they'd already been working on it, right? So there's like some foxtail inside of this corn. They'd been bedding in it. They're already eating a bunch of it. So I'm probably, I don't know, it's probably 30,000 population when I started. It's probably down to 15 or 20 now. So they've been working on it pretty hard. But anyways, I'm up in there watching all these does starting to come out, and they're just feeding right past me. I mean, by the time I started seeing bucks, there's already 10 or 15 does that I'd seen.
Are you in a hang on or a saddle sitting?
No, I'm up in a blind, a box blind.
Okay.
Yep, got a box blind set right there for a north wind. It works out perfect. I got a little hill I can sneak up into it, and nobody even. I mean, I can get into this thing with deer in the plot, and they don't even know I'm in there.
That's impressive.
It's pretty bulletproof.
That's cool.
But
Sounds nice.
yeah, it was pretty legit.
Real nice.
So I'm sitting there, I'm counting all these bucks. I don't know, probably 10 different bucks. A lot of the same deer that I'd been seeing all season. And right across the ridge from me, about 60 yards, I see Tip start coming up. I'm like, oh, who we got? Because I could see he was big, wide deer. And throw the binos up on him, and it's Cody's buck. That's the first time I'd seen him this year. I'd seen him, I don't know, 10 times last year, but hadn't got to see him yet this year. So I'm like, man, there he is. That's one of the two. And with the dry spell I'd been on, I'm like, the mustache is starting to tingle a little bit. I need to see some blood tonight.
She's vibrating.
So I actually got the video downloaded through SmugMug. I don't know if you want to pull it up or not, but
probably could. This one?
Yes.
This one or this one?
That one right there.
Just Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, there you go.
With the shades and all.
That's after I shot him.
Okay.
I don't know if I got like the
ain't it?
pre-shot.
This one?
That's the Tacticam. Maybe I don't have it on there. I bet I don't have the GoPro footage on there. But anyways, this is the Tacticam shot. But I'm basically opening up the window, and this deer is already at like 25 to 30 yards. And you can hear it in the GoPro video. I hit it was either the arrow or the bow on the window, and it's ting, real loud. Luckily, there was enough wind. He kind of
he's right there.
He kind of lifted his head up and looked around, and then just went right back down to feeding. So I got the rangefinder out, ranged him. He was 27, rolled to 27, drew back. You can actually see my bow like out the window because there's not much room the way I'm shooting out this one side window. It's actually a different buck. That's little Leah's buck.
Okay.
So anyways, I get drawed back on this thing, and he's 27. I knew right where he was at. Get down on him, execute a good shot. The arrow just pops him right behind the shoulder. And I could see him run for about 40 or 50 yards and then over the crest of the hill, and he's gone. Like, well, I couldn't have went any better. It was just, the shot was money. I mean,
that
it worked out perfect.
sweet looking with that through the corn like that.
Yeah, it's fun because if you see him, there's a really good chance they're walking within 30 yards of you.
For sure.
It's a pretty good setup. So it was like super cold that night. I had another hunter in camp with me, and he actually had shot a buck that night too. So we'd actually both arrowed bucks at about the same time. So I had, it was Matt Bohm and his boys and his wife, and then Leah and Cody. Everybody joined me for the recovery. And I can't remember. That's probably on the GoPro as well. I don't know if I got that downloaded, but it was just fun. We had all the boys with us.
Yeah.
It was a 60-yard walk, so it wasn't like we had to tromp through the timber. It was nice and easy for them. I let them trail aim, and of course it's double lung shot, so there's
you smoked them.
blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Walked up on him and recovered Cody's buck with Cody, so that was pretty cool.
Awesome picture, by the way.
That was a great picture.
Yep.
Cody looks like, my
better
dad
than
got
the
him.
one that I had by myself, right?
Yes. Oh, you mean this one? That one?
The flash was getting me, dude. You noticed the other one, there was no flash.
That was
You need your sunglasses
I was
on.
really trying to get the mustache.
That
to
doesn't even
stick
look
out,
like you.
No, it
I should
doesn't.
have posted this, but like, Austin's had a long season.
Yeah, dude. That's the look of a burnt out hunter right there.
Get the red ass
No
eyes.
emotions.
It's like you've been hanging out in a quokka for too long. I could take a wrong turn to Aquaka and then went deer hunting for 4 days straight.
Gulfport's hard on a guy.
Hard on a guy.
You just look like a really nice Canadian fella.
Yeah, see? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, the 51st state, America's hat. Great photo. I that buck's badass too.
Look at that arrow. Just painted.
Look at the shot.
Yeah.
Love it. Smoked him.
Yep.
Isn't it great watching that arrow just...
Oh, yeah. It's like it drops right where you're watching. It's like, right there.
And then you're like, bye-bye.
Well, there's always so much hypotheticals and debate a lot of times with archery shots, because if you don't see it go down, you question it. And there's always this like, well, did you get what you need to get? Did you not? What if you didn't get enough penetration? What if all the shit? So when you take it and it happens that way, and right away you kind of have that like,
he gone.
Like the he's fucked feeling before and post shot.
You are
check,
so
please.
fucked.
It's the best. It's like time to go. Yep. Then you can actually enjoy your efficiency before you get down.
But even making that shot, you don't see him go down. You're like, oh man, what happened? Like I didn't see him go down. I watched him run 60 yards. Like why didn't he fall over?
Yeah.
So if you don't see him go down, you're always second guessing yourself.
Totally. And everybody, I think, relates to that.
For sure.
When we walked up, I'm like, that's right where I thought I hit him.
Yeah. I think. All right.
You still pumped him and knew you had a really.
I was
good
pretty
shot,
confident.
right?
I want to do a round table poll here.
All right.
Okay. POLL. What? All right. So when you recover a deer, or you shot a deer, or whatever, do you find your first reaction on the shot? So because you shoot. Your initial, oh shit, or is it good or is it bad? And that first 7 seconds of you analyzing in the moment, do you find that you're normally right in that situation or wrong in that situation? Because you do that, you have your 7 seconds of adrenaline, oh shit, is it good, is it bad, or what to do it, and your reaction. Then you start calling people. Well, where was it? So then you kind of get external voices in your head, and then you start thinking about it different. Do you find your initial reaction to your shots are what you thought they were? Or, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I do.
Start with Dougie.
I would say 90% of the time, my initial reaction was correct.
Okay. 90%. Okay.
Yeah. On the big 8, I hit an artery. So, I mean, he was dead in 80 yards. But at first, I thought it was bad.
Yeah, that's
just
a perfect
worked out.
example of that. Okay. Okay. That's fair.
Yep. I'd agree with that. I'd say if you're going to analyze the shot, the first 5 seconds, your initial reaction is probably going to be correct.
Yeah.
I've had shots like on Leah's buck. I couldn't see where that arrow hit him. I kind of read the deer's reaction, and I felt good after watching him react, but I had no idea where the arrow had hit him. So in a situation like that where you don't know where point of impact was, you're kind of guessing.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can see point of impact or he's close enough and your shot is executed right, I mean, you probably got a pretty good read on the situation in the first 5 seconds.
Leah's buck was a fucked up deal.
Well, yeah, it was a further shot. It was dark, and I just couldn't see point of impact on the arrow.
Yeah, pitch black. Yeah. It was low light.
Yeah, it was very low light.
But clarify a little bit. It wasn't dark.
Pitch black at midnight.
Yeah. Well, you're in a blind.
The video looked super dark. I had plenty of light to make the shot, but he was far enough out there, I just couldn't see point of impact.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you'll have situations like that where you just don't know, and then you got to read the sign and the arrow and analyze his reaction and everything. But I would say typically in the first 5 seconds, you're going to know whether or not you killed him.
What do you think, Scotty? So what do you say 90%, or do you think it's less, Austin?
I'd say 90% is pretty fair. Yeah.
Okay.
Off of the shots I had this year, I mean, I thought the first 2 were not going to die.
All right, so are you leveling out our average here, or what's?
Yeah. I mean, those were both god awful shots, but they both died within 70 to 80 yards.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens.
But yeah, I did know where I hit them, so yeah, I'm agreeing. Yeah, I'm pretty confident in like during the shot, as the shot goes off, I know where I hit them because instantly when I hit that buck in the ass, I was like,
that's not good.
That's not good, but there was a whole shitload of blood coming out of them. So I was like, well, good old artery.
Yep.
And yeah,
got
80 yards. And then after when I shot my second buck, I knew for sure. I was like, he's dead.
He gone.
Right, yep.
Yeah.
40 yards away.
So give me a percentage. on accurate judgment?
80% of the time.
That's fair.
I'd say. There is some times where, I mean, I think everybody gets them sometimes, that kind of blackout, like.
What just happened?
Oh, yeah.
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 I understand. I'm like, it is frustrating. Like, if Eric shoots one, I'm like, well, where'd you hit it? He's like, well, I don't know. It's like frustrating to hear that, but like, I do get it. I mean, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You brown out.
Yeah. You brown out?
Brown out. What do you think, Ross?
So I'm going to, excuse me. I'm going to say I'm at 95%. And every time I hit a deer, I know right where it was at. It's how I treat the shot afterwards that counts, in my opinion. So I know where I hit. Now, is it sketchy? Should I wait? Should I go? I didn't watch him fall. All right, we're going to give that deer 12, or we're going to give him 16, or we're going to give him 24. I don't know. But it depends on where the shot ends up. And if I hit him in the middle, I'm waiting overnight. I won't even think about even going and looking at my arrow. I know where I hit, so I'm backing out. So yeah. Whether some people think that's right, wrong, or indifferent, if you don't watch them drop out of the tree, we got a problem.
Yeah, you got to think about
it. Treat it as if you hit them in the liver. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good. That's all right. Yeah.
Stop driving. Going in there and hey, let's go look at the arrow and stomp all over and crunch a bunch of leaves and jump him off his first bed, and he was bedded 80 yards from where you just shot him. Like,
yeah,
don't do that.
It's better to let them wait and then not bump them and not get them at all,
Yeah,
or just give it all the time and then.
I'm more real conservative after the shot if I don't know 100% that
you don't see him fall.
Yep. Yeah. So I'll be the most conservative and stay clear away. I mean, we've Austin and I have been through. We've learned a lot in a few years that we've been hunting together and retrieving deer together, and it's like
we've jumped up some deer that we thought there's no way in hell that thing could still be alive, and then kick him up. So you just have to give
6.5 hours later. Should have been a slam dunk, and no, he jumped up and took off running. Like
you gotta admire the animal and what they can go through and how long they can live. I mean, they're super tough. So
yeah, big time.
When Leah's buck happened, that kind of like set me back a little bit. It's like, okay, there's a fine line in there between leaving them too long, and then just being dumb and going in early. So I try to ride that edge of going in, using what I've learned in the woods and being like, okay, he's top of one lung, liver, exited intestines. He's going to be dead in 6 hours. I mean, he's probably dead in an hour, but I'm going to leave him 6. I'm not going to leave him overnight.
Yeah.
So now I'm starting to like be a little more analytical on my shot, and sometimes I go in faster than what other guys would, I guess. But
we've
just
learned
for that
a
coyote
lot.
reason.
We've learned a lot in the Bluff 10, and then that was our first big one, and then turned around in Leah's buck.
Yep.
And now you just recovered this next deer we're going to talk about.
Yep.
And we've learned a lot, and it's not always going to be a slam dunk, but we've figured out when's the time to go in.
Well, bottom line, I think it's a wash to a point. Like, people are going to be like, oh, you don't want the meat to go bad. Yeah, of course. But here's the thing. You either wait long, get the deer, let him go 6 hours, you get lucky he doesn't get touched, or you go in too early and you bump him, never find him. Then by the time you do, he's all 8 out anyway.
Yeah. You got to err on the side of safety.
And here's the bottom line. If a coyote gets to your deer before you do, it's a waste, but nothing really goes to waste. It's not ideal. I don't want that for anybody. Nobody wants it. But it's the reality of Mother Nature.
Yes. Yep.
Coyotes got to eat.
It happens.
I don't want them to eat my deer.
Yeah. When you weigh losing your deer or getting your deer, but having some of the coyotes get to it, it's like, I'm going to take my deer, I'm going to err on the side of being safe and take my deer.
Well, or at least just if it does get touched by coyotes, you take what you can get.
Yep.
Or bump it early and then have to back out again, give it more time, and then coyotes pick up on it and finish it off, and then you got nothing.
It's a mess.
Or you never even find it.
Yeah, or you never even find it at all.
Yeah.
Or it goes onto the neighbors. Like in Illinois, if you don't have permission to go on the neighbors, even if you have blood, guess what? You ain't going to get it.
Right.
So I think people can have their hard thoughts and opinions on
they
the whole
will
search
always.
and recovery thing.
The thing is, first bed, he's dead. And if you jack around and screw that up, now what are we talking about?
Now you don't know.
I shot a nice buck, but now he's gone.
Yeah.
I found a nice bed full of blood, but didn't get him.
Yeah. I think you can't judge anybody on what they're going to make. Most people are going to make what they think is the right call in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of experience helps your judgment on what might be the right call for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Eric, what do you think on your judgment of
I'm thinking 90% now.
yeah.
few years ago, you have that blackout moment or you have that shit that goes on. I had a real bad problem of shooting and wanting to look right away.
Oh, dropping your bow.
Yep.
Instead of follow through.
Just let that arrow hit the deer and just stay there,
Yeah.
I would shoot immediately, and that's kind of that blackout moment where you're like, okay, what happened in those 2 seconds where I wasn't really paying attention?
Yeah. Did I look through my peep? You kind of forget little shit like that,
That and lighted nocks, man, those really helped me, really pinpoint where that arrow was hitting that deer at.
Yeah.
So I would say 90% now.
I would say 85, 90%. I've had, I'll tell you though, all the shots where I'm like, he's dead have been dead. All the shots where I'm like, I don't know about that. He's either dead with effort and I had to wait or whatever, or it was one of those deer or shots that I'm like, that deer might live, like a shoulder hit or whatever, but I'm in that 90%, I think, as well.
Yeah, and all my deer this year, I've seen them all fall except one. And honestly, that doe in Kansas, I thought I totally missed her.
Yeah.
Totally missed. I'm like, I looked at Jordan. You can see it once we post the video, but I look at Jordan like, I don't know if I had my bow tweaked weird or what happened, but I look at him like, I just missed that doe.
Yeah.
And we watched the video back, and I did what Scotty did, hit her way back and caught the artery, and she ran 60 yards.
Yep.
Yeah. That's like Devin did too. It's like where the hell did you shoot this thing? And he watched it fall. Like it's crazy. But I don't know. Do you think we're gonna get to your other deer here also? I just love this type of conversation. Mm-hmm. What prevents? And this is all an individual thing. And I want the listener to think about this as well, because I think this can help people stay out of the blackout moment. And I'm not saying don't have buck fever, because that's exciting. That's what people hooked on it. Have buck fever, but what keeps you collected while you're dealing with the rush of buck fever, or here's the deer I've been waiting on, now he's here in this moment? Your brain will kind of, and I think it all depends season to season and sit to sit, what you've had and haven't had. I mean, Doug, you probably have some of that too. Like you see a deer, oh shit, I've had a rough season. Your adrenaline rush spikes harder.
Yeah.
But statistically, in the greater odds, what keeps you out of the blackout moment? Because it's kind of like ring rust almost. Mm-hmm. Like, have you ever been in a fist fight, like a real fist fight? Your first fist fight ever, I remember mine. You kind of go, oh fuck, I'm in a fist fight right now, and you kind of don't remember throwing punches, but you're throwing them.
Right.
I think it all comes from experience. Like actually getting some bucks on the ground and stuff. Because
shooting deer,
I still get that super excitement, but then I can kind of calm myself down a little bit where I'm not like totally peaked out on excitement. I'm like, okay, take a couple deep breaths, relax just a little bit, and it kind of keeps you out of that blackout mode.
Yeah, and or anticipating what's going to happen. I mean, we all sit in the deer stand and think, okay, I'm sure this buck I've got on trail camera, he's going to be here tonight, and he's going to come walking down this trail, and I'm going to shoot him right here. And we do that over and over in our minds, and it never plays
works out like that.
Never plays out the same, right?
Yeah.
But the anticipation of this is going to happen, and you're amping yourself up like it's going to happen, and then he actually does step out, and then your heart goes through the roof. You really got to pull it back, like you're talking, just harness it and focus on, this is the moment, make the shot. Mm-hmm. This is your one and done.
Yeah.
This may be your only opportunity the whole season. If you screw this up, you've been practicing all year long, shooting targets, shooting your bow, trying to get that dialed in, and here's your moment. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you keep that mentality, you're all ramped up and buck fever like crazy, but don't fuck it up.
Yeah. I remember, this was a silly analogy, but I grew up doing karate and kickboxing and stuff. I remember being in karate class when I was a kid, and my karate instructor going, practice when you go home. And everyone's like, I don't want to practice when I go home. He's like, listen, you don't have to physically practice, but when you're sitting there at home, think about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Think about running through your forms. Think about it. Just run mentally through the forms. You got nothing but hours of sitting in that tree. Think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Visualize it. Think about it. What if he doesn't come down here and he goes out to 35? What do you got to do?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, where's your pocket? Do you have a pocket?
That helps you a lot of heat in the heat of the moment. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
Run in different scenarios through your mind.
Yeah. If you look and you don't have a pocket, you know what happens when he goes to 35 yards? You got no shot. You fucking don't shoot.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
You
watch him leave.
You watch him leave, and that sucks.
Been there, done that. It sucks, but
just a fun thing to think of.
Yeah.
It is.
I get so laser focused in the moment, like when it's happening, I find myself, it almost takes away from the encounter a little bit because you're so focused on your shot and how the deer is angled and everything, that you kind of like you lose a little bit of the encounter. And that happened to me on this deer. I had a really good encounter with him early, and after the encounter, I'm like, man, I don't have anything to really take away from that. Like, I didn't really enjoy that at all. It was so stressful. So I'm like, if I get another encounter with him, I'm actually going to like try to step back and just watch him and just like try to enjoy the encounter a little bit. So I was blessed to be able to have a second encounter with him and do that.
Okay, let's throw this on. Let me throw this out there, and then I want to move on to the story on this deer while we're on it. Do you think when a big buck comes in, you always feel like you don't have time? Does that make sense? Like you always feel like he's going to be here and leave if I don't take my opportunity?
I'm an opportunist. I'm taking the first opportunity he gives me, so I want to be sure and be prepared for that. But as he's approaching and getting ready to do that, I think it's important to kind of just step back and drink it in and really appreciate the moment because it's so rare.
I think you have more time than you think you have. Sometimes,
for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes
it's easy to get lost and just be super focused and let the moment just kind of blur by you. But if you can step back and kind of bring yourself back and just watch,
I think that's a very fine line teeter-totter. Would you say? I mean, that teeter-totter is, I want to soak this in, but
I'm also here to shoot it.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
You got to be focused.
If he turns and goes left, I need him to come right. If he doesn't come right, I got to shoot him right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's what I really, really did love about that decoy this year was because I feel like that deer's focus was on the decoy. I didn't have to worry about me so much moving and doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool how he took his time to come in. So I got to sit there and I'm like, he's focused on this deer. He's coming this deer. I know what he's going to do.
Yep.
I didn't have to worry about, is he going to take this trail to the right or to the left, or is he going to come right in front of me? I'm like, he sees the buck and he's coming in. So it kind of gave me that little bit extra time to relax and kind of think about, okay.
And you can move around a little more with the decoy.
Yep. You
can kind of on the decoy.
Yep. So I really enjoyed the decoy this year. I actually seen it work and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Are we decoy bros?
Damn right.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
You guys can have mine.
All right. I'll just make them out there sparring. Just two DSDs just looking like a rich asshole.
And you just rattle the whole time you're in the tree. Just keep rattling.
I rattled every 7 minutes.
It's going to work eventually.
Yeah, eventually it would.
I would think usually right when I shoot, like the buck fever before is not really there. It's right after I release the arrow, something like that's when it starts clicking in because sometimes like people are like, where'd he run to? It's like, I'm trying to find blood. And I thought he was over here, but really he was like 20 yards, around.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to forget where they went.
Right.
That's what I find hard for me.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
The rush hits you so hard.
Hits you then, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Like, you're like, okay, I know he ran right there. I know where he ran. And then you get down and you're like,
what the fuck?
Where'd he go? Yeah. All right. Was he over here or over there? I don't know.
All right. While we're on this, because we've all killed a lot of deer, the aiming part, right? Okay. So we had some friends shoot some deer this year. We had a lot of friends shoot some deer. A lot of big deer died. But in the middle of the map hunt camp, we had somebody in here that shot a deer and didn't recover it and was kind of unsure. And it got me thinking. It's like, okay, how'd you feel at the shot? Just kind of analyzing it. Like when you draw back, because I remember this when I was younger and had less experience and killed significantly less deer. Like I maybe only had a couple deer with the bow under my belt. Do you remember then, and maybe you guys didn't have this like I did, but I remember being full draw and being like, oh, fuck, just shoot and hold as good as you can. And then after you went off, you kind of had this like, I hope I hit it.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I feel when I shoot, I have the feeling you're more surprised if you don't hit where you thought you were.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that comes with shooting more deer. Like I feel and I think it's because I've drawn back on deer and then let down. When you draw back, you're like, I could just torch your ass, but I'm not gonna. That's
so
maybe
so fun.
But I could, but I won't. But I will. So it's like I feel like
maybe
if I'm drawn on a whitetail, and if you're trying to force a shot, it's different. And I can almost feel like you're burying your pen versus like, fuck, all so uncontrolled that you're like, I hope I hit him. Clink, there goes your release, and then you're
that's
like,
not good for anybody.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yep.
It's nothing wrong with it. I think it's just how you hold it together on that.
Well, it's an experience too. Like you go through that situation 15, 20 times, you start getting a little more comfortable in the moment.
That's it too. I mean, you go through it in your head 1,000 times and then you're practicing shooting and everything comes together. When Austin tells a story, it's pretty awesome because he gets exactly what we're talking about and he'll tell you exactly how it goes, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think that conversation is fun.
Oh, yeah. It is fun.
Yeah,
It is fun.
You know,
Yeah.
especially too, is like from our listener perspective. I mean, you two, Roston here, going old school with. You guys are looked at as like the big giant killers of the crew, and so people always like to hear your guys' input and shit on killing big deer because you guys have done it, done it a lot, so it counts for something.
It takes a lot of, I mean, like everything we just talked about. It takes a lot of just focus and going through your head in 1,000 different ways. Don't make mistake. We still get shook up in the moment. I mean, that's what we're here for.
Well, and it takes a lot of fucking up to learn this shit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You know,
Like,
I think we could both double the deer that are on the wall out of all
the ones that
little
got away.
fuck ups that we didn't. Yeah, all the ones that got away.
You hear a lot of success
Things we
stories
should have done
from us,
differently,
but
and you know,
there's a lot of fuck up stories.
Yeah, I don't hear all the fuck ups. Just success.
I should say I could probably double my deer. Austin couldn't double his deer on the wall, but he with his fuck ups. But yeah, he's I've got some
both
fuck
had
ups.
plenty.
Yeah, everybody does though. You do it long enough.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
You know?
for sure.
Well, fun convo, Austin. That was November 29th on your first deer.
Yep.
Cody's 8.
Yep. I'll rewind a little bit. So this was the deer I wanted to go after. This deer was my number one buck over there. After I found out that big deer with all the brow tines had died, I'm like, all right, I'm going to focus on this big 9. And the year before, I think I've got some pictures of him in there. The year before, he was a beautiful 9, real heavy bases, had like 5-inch base on the one side last year. Leah actually stepped onto the truck and picked his shed up right next to the blind where I killed Cody's 8. So he was frequent in the same spots in the late season, got super regular there. So I felt like the odds were in my favor. I honestly felt this would probably be a late season deer for me if I didn't get him in the rut. Just grinded for him, man. I had a great encounter with him November 2nd. I wasn't even I was hunting the far other side of the farm from where I'd been getting pictures of him. He'd been gone for about a week. I was set up right next to the creek, and I looked down. It's like 7 a.m, you know, first hour of light. I look down, and he's 40 yards coming right up the creek to me. I'm like, oh, man, here we go. It's the trail's right here, dumps out about 40 yards, and then comes right up the hill to me. He's going to be 20 yards. So I reach up, click the GoPro on, and I look down, and he's just locked up. His front feet are just stiff, and he's just looking straight ahead. I'm like, he can't be winding me. Like, is he looking at a coyote? What's going on? And then I remembered, I'm like, my waders are down there next to the creek. I'd waded across the creek, wadded my waders up, and tucked them into the bank so nothing would see him. But he's like 10 yards from him, just staring at him. I'm
What
like,
the hell are those?
You got to be fucking kidding me. He's
like, that's a
goes
weird
like
looking
this,
rock.
backs up, tail tucked, and just trots down the creek. I'm like, son of a bitch. I can't believe that just happened. That's the first time that one's ever happened. Like, the waders got me.
Yeah, they'll be fine. Let's put them right here. Yeah.
So I'm like,
Just
well,
staring at him. What the fuck?
I'm like, it can't be that bad. He didn't booger that bad. I had one picture of him the next night, and that fucking deer was gone for 18 days after that.
No shit.
You didn't know that deer hate waders.
Yeah, he didn't like them. I thought I had him hid too.
Everybody
That's the
knows
worst
that.
part.
I thought you knew deer.
I even tucked him up under a little, like a little part where the creek had washed out, and there was a bunch of roots. I like tucked it up under there so nothing would smell it or see it, and he still got him.
He just
He's got
laser beams.
Bad experience.
I think someone crossed the
coons
creek
or
here.
otters or something.
You got kicked by a duck hunter one time that had waders on or something. I don't know.
It's like Murphy's Law. If it can happen, it will. So he found my waders.
It happened.
So I was screwed for 15, 17 days. I hunted and hunted and hunted for that deer. Had good encounters with the other.
Sorry to laugh. It's just...
There was 4 good deer on the farm. There was Cody's 8, this deer, and then 2 other deer. And I had good encounters with the other 2 deer multiple times. And this deer was just gone. So finally, it was the 20th. I got a picture of him. Went in the next night, and that's where I videoed him out of the blind that night. I got a really good video of him, like 100 yards away, and he really looked big in the video. I'm like, man, he might be even better than I think. Went in the next morning and had that really good encounter with him. He come down the hill. He walked down, checked the scrape line. He was by himself. This was on the 20th or 21st. And he comes back around and he walks right through this pinch. I'd actually kind of set it up. I'd done some hinge cutting to try to cut him off to keep him out of this deep part of the ravine and push him more up to my set. Well, I got lazy. I had one more tree I needed to be up in, but I was back. I was hanging in a more conservative spot. It put him at like 35 yards. And when he came in, he he actually stepped through the brush that I had hinge cut and actually faced me, come towards me, and never give me a shot, just stayed in the thick stuff. I never had a shot opportunity. I was full draw on him. First time I'd actually come to draw on a deer after hunting for almost a month.
Mm-hmm. This is before you're at a deer.
Yeah. This was on the 20th or 21st. I shot Cody's on the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pissed. I mean, and that was the encounter I was talking about where I had him at 30 yards. I'd had this deer within 40 yards twice and can't get an arrow in him. It's frustrating. You're spending a month out there and you've had him within bow range twice. And
there he is. You can't do anything about it.
Yep. Yeah. He came through perfect and just couldn't make it happen. So I just stuck with him. I'm like, man, if I'm going to kill him, it's going to be on this side of the farm. It's where I'm getting all the pictures. I've seen him here twice. This is where it's going to happen. Sat there and burned that spot out, just hunted and hunted and hunted it. And I'm blowing does out. You're scaring deer when you're going in and out. Even though it's on the fringe of the farm, you're still putting your scent all over it.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It got to the point, it was like Thanksgiving, and I'd blown out 10 does. I'm like, I'm done. I can't hunt any more mornings. I'm doing more harm than good. I want to kill him, but it's just not working.
Mm-hmm.
I quit hunting 2 mornings. Well, the next day I shot Cody's buck, and then I took a breather the day after I'd shot Cody's buck. So on the 30th,
celebration day,
this deer daylighted on the 27th on that camera. And then he daylighted again on the 30th, the day after I killed Cody's buck.
Yep.
So it was the day I took off, and there he is in the daylight at 4 o'clock. I'm like, all right.
That's how it always works.
Daddy's back.
I'm going in the next night. He's done it 2 times in the last 4 days. If he does it again, I'm going to be there waiting on him.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the weather. I told Leah, I said, it's going to be the 1st, the 2nd, or today is the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the 1st, the 2nd, or the 5th when I kill this deer. So I had a little tree already picked out, already had a bow hanger up in it from the year before. And it's kind of a cool setup because I never hang this low, but there's a little evergreen and then an evergreen behind it. So I'm up probably 8 or 9 feet is where my platform's at.
That's awesome.
Barely.
And
8 foot.
And when they come in, they're 35 to 40 yards in closing. You don't see them coming ahead of time. They crest the hill.
So they're cedar trees or pine trees or
yeah,
what?
Cedars.
Cedars,
Yep.
yeah.
Love a good
Got a little shorty.
Cedar trees,
and they got
man.
big tall.
Something about them.
They're just so awesome.
They smell good.
It's tough.
They smell good.
It's tough for them to pick you out when you get locked into a spot like that, even if you're 8 foot off the ground.
It's money.
They just don't know.
That's where you got to be.
Yep. So the black gate's running. I'm 35 yards from the black gate, and all these deer are cruising past the camera. I had 5 other bucks come out.
Black gate trail cam, not just past a black colored.
Yeah, right. The black gate trail.
I mean, as cool as that would be.
So I was actually pulling an Eric on this deer. So the tree was leaning, so I had to have the stand kind of kick this way, and the deer are approaching from here. So I was actually spun into the tree, sitting on my seat, and just watching these deer, basically looking around the tree and watching these deer come to me.
You're sitting in it backwards.
I was sitting in it
Being a
backwards.
voyeur,
Yeah.
no big deal.
Yep. I'm like,
Sick.
The saddle probably actually would have been pretty sweet right here, but I didn't bring it.
And it's actually pretty comfortable, ain't it?
It's not bad. I was pretty steady that way. But when it started getting to that time, he the last 2 nights he had went through there, it was 3:58 and 4:04. It was right around 4 o'clock he's coming. So at 3:30, I'm standing up. I'm like, I'm not going to get caught with my pants down. I'm going to be ready for him. And like I said, he's 35 yards in closing when he's coming in. So the whole night, I'm just trained on this spot. I would look at my phone, look at the time, put it back in. I'm just watching. I'd never been more focused on a hunt.
Dude, and you guys too, real quick. Okay, say the deer comes on camera the night before at 4:04. You're there the next night, you're 4:03.
Yeah.
He's coming.
Yeah, you know, he's got an appointment.
And it's 4:05, and you're like, where the fuck's he at?
Well, especially when he's done it twice.
Right, you're like, this just pisses me off.
I'm out of here.
Yeah,
You're late.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, he's late. But yeah, I get that.
And
That's also exhausting to sit like that too.
It is.
Oh, it is.
But I was having fun because I said it in the video. It's just always more fun when you know you're in the chips. It could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And all these other deer rolling out. Nothing's winding me. The wind's blowing perfect where I need it to be. It was swirling early in the night, and now it's just 10 mile an hour steady right where I want it. I'm like, man, this is working out. If he's bedded where he's been bedded, I'm going to kill him tonight.
Yeah.
And 4 o'clock comes, and I got 15 deer in the field. 10 of them are bucks, and he's not there. I'm like, he's going to fuck me. He's not coming out. It's 4 o'clock, and he's not here. Where in the fuck's he at? And I'm just sitting there waiting, and the does and the bucks keep coming. And then it's I start to see tip coming up, and I just reach up and click the Tacticam on the bow. I'm like, here we go. And I could just see frame, and it just keeps coming up over the ridge. And I keep seeing tines. I'm like, there's my boy right there.
There he is.
We're back.
He's 40 yards, and I've been...
Thanks for being 30 minutes late, Dick.
Yeah, stressing me out.
What were you doing?
It's cold out.
Stressing me out. Everybody else is out
He
there.
thought he's seen waders again.
They had a nightmare.
So I've been watching this spot so hard. I'm like, when I see him, I'm going to click Tacticam on here. I got enough time. I'll get my bow up. There's a great big blob of trees, like little evergreens he's got to walk behind. There's my draw trees. I'm going to draw on him there. I'm going to have to hold it for about 20 yards as he's coming into me. He's going to be probably 15 to 20 yards broadside at the shot.
Love that.
And it's just working perfect. I actually, he's coming. I'm clipped on. I'm ready. He gets behind the green trees. I go till I can't see his eyes. Once his eyes disappear, I draw back. He's still walking. And then I got a little opening where he's quartered into me, and I'm aiming at him with the Tacticam. And he's coming. I'm like, if he stops here, I'll shoot him, because he's like 25. And he just keeps coming. He never stops. So then you can see him in the Tacticam kind of roll over into my next lane, and I'm just kind of waiting. And he's getting real close. He's like 15, so he's not going where the other deer did. He's continuing down the road and kind of quartering into me pretty good. So I just basically, I put the pin on his shoulder. He's like probably 17, 18 yards, and I'm just following him. I'm like, he's in trouble now. Like, I can shoot him at any minute here. And I just let him get up to almost broadside. He had about 1 or 2 steps, and I go, meh, meh, and he didn't hear it. The wind was blowing enough. He's 12 yards. I'm not going to map him. He's 12 yards. I'm not going to do anything louder than what I just did. So I had the pin on his crease, and just as he's stepping, just whack, pull the trigger on him, and it hits him. It looks really good. It looks at 3 or 4 inches off the crease and maybe a little high, but because he's so close, I like the angle of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So he runs, he just takes off like a bat out of hell. He runs up right in the middle of the plot. All you can see is white tails just leaving. Everybody's freaking out because this big buck's charging in.
What the hell?
They're like, oh my God, here it comes.
Take it easy.
What the fuck? I thought we were having a good time.
Have a nice dinner.
We really pissed him off now.
Like a drunk guy at a bar eating dinner.
He gets out there in the middle of the big time plot, and I can't emphasize how many deer were using the green in the last 3 nights. I mean, I had cut corn 300 yards away, and there's 15 bucks in this green. They're just hammering the buck bunch. So he's on his way there. I crank him, and he goes out, and he stands in the middle of this buck brunch plot, and I could see him hunched up. He's kind of hunched up like a gut shot deer would be, but I can see the hole. It's like, I'm like, man, it's not back that far, and it's not that high. Like, he's going to fall down right here. I'm going to watch him fall over. And he's hunched up, and I watched him for 10 minutes. I'm to the point now where I'm ranging. I'm like, fuck, he's 95. Like, I don't shoot past 80. I've never even shot a broadhead past 80. I just don't practice back more than 80.
All of a sudden, Bomar just appears over your shoulder.
I got this.
Just do it. If you miss, keep shooting till you hit it, and then make that the entire video.
I'm ranging him as he's walking off the plot. I'm like, man, 95. He's not getting any closer. I'm like, I'm better off to just leave him alone and let him bed down than to fling an arrow and get him moving fast again.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So, like, if he would have been 80, I probably would have rolled to 80 and tried him.
Already got him more than likely fatally shot.
Yeah.
Double tap. I get it.
He was just outside of my range, so I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to let him walk off and settle down and bed down here. I had the binos up on him for 10 minutes watching this hole in him. I could see him bleeding out of his exit. It looks like it's 3 or 4 inches off the crease and on the high side, like top of the first lung, and it's going to come out middle of the body. I'm like, he's dead. He can't hold that. Like, he's fucked.
Mm.
So I back out, and then I go back and I watch the Tacticam video of him, and the shot's back a little more than I thought. It's probably 5 or 6 inches off the crease. And it's high-wise, it's a little high, but not bad. And after talking with the guys in the group, it's like, all right, I think I'm going to go in. What'd we say, Ross? 4 hours is what we started out. I'm like, we're going to go in after 4 hours. And then we started analyzing. It's like, man, if he was quartered in, it could be like top of the lung, liver, and gut. We've jumped that bluff 10 before after
bluff
6
10,
hours.
That's what we talked about, that bluff 10. It's like, dude, we got to be careful. I was 6.
Yep. So I'm like, I'm going to leave him 6. It's cold. that deer was not amped up. Like, he's going to bet on that first knob. I'm going to give him time. I'm just going to give him 6 hours and go in. So that's what I did. My cousin Justin hopped in the four-wheeler with me. We rolled back in there. We weren't finding much blood. We found a pretty good spot of blood where he'd stood in the plot there, and tracked him, started tracking him, started opening up a little bit, and he went to the first knob where it's really steep, and he acted like he wanted to go down, but he didn't. And I'm like, that's a good sign. He's hurting enough, he doesn't want to go down. And it was like 20 yards later, my cousin's recording this. I think I've actually got the recovery on there too. And he'd seen him ahead of me and started filming me ahead of time. Yeah, that one. But yeah, we can just watch this. But it was pretty badass to walk up on him.
You had the volume on or off?
Yeah, on.
Cool spot. Justin, man, that Huntworth looks good.
Justin's already seen
him, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He killed a great buck this year, too. They already had it filming. That's awesome. Recovery videos are great.
Come along, my friend.
I love that.
Great mustache along with that.
Yeah.
You can hear just how crunchy and cold
yeah, it's cold. It's 15 degrees. You can just see the frost puffing out.
Yeah.
Coyotes already on him.
So when we pulled in, the coyotes had already started on this deer, and we could hear the pack. They were going ape shit. And if I would have left him another hour, they'd have been into him hard.
Gone.
Like,
Yeah.
This property's got at least 500,000 coyotes on it.
And I'm gonna make it my job this winter to get in there and do some work on him. But,
yeah.
And then I pull him up, like, damn, he's bigger than I thought. Just a big old heavy deer.
That buck's a hammer, dude.
Who's this guy on camera?
I don't know this guy.
Mustache has changed you.
Who are you?
You get me in the moment, dude.
I think you need to keep the mustache.
Yeah, that's what I think
Come
too.
along,
but
my friend.
Leah's,
Come along, my
Leah's
friend.
not a fan of it, believe it or not. I don't know why.
Mama's not?
What
She
the hell?
doesn't like the mustache.
I figured she'd be into the mustache.
She doesn't like it. She wants the beard back. So I told her, I said, that's fine, but come next deer season, if my luck's not going the way I want it to, that kill stash is coming back out.
Do what you got to do.
Dude,
Yeah.
Brittany in 06 to your face, just like a fat baby. Me. Everyone's like, you look weird shaped. I'm like, yeah, and I killed a 200-inch deer, so suck my ass.
Shut up.
Right? Yeah, you look weird too, and you don't have a 200-inch deer.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? What are you self-conscious to go Brittany 06 with me, or what's up?
But no, man, it was
great buck.
Dude, it's such a fun feeling to walk up on the number one deer, the deer you've had your heart set on and had all the encounters with and been grinding for a month. Like, you know, the late season's coming on and you're going to have cold fingers and cold toes every night, and you're looking forward to it because you know it's going to be good. But man, on December 1st, when he walked by at 12 yards, I'm like, I'm going to take that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm all in on that.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Here's what I want you to do now. We have the rack on the table. Hold him up to this camera and walk through what he's got, because if you're talking, that camera will be on you. So
he's kind of a deceiving deer. You really got to kind of see him in person, but he's super heavy. I mean, when you pick his skull plate up, he's just heavy. Heavy up through the tines, heavy, super heavy at the bases, bladed on both of his brows. His
Big old blades.
His left brow is just wicked. It's long and it's like it's split three ways. He's actually knocked a little off of two of the points on the brows. He's got acorns on his left 2 and left 4. Long beams, averaged like 27 on his beams.
Long
as 27 and 2 on his left beam.
Yeah, just
I got the score sheet pulled up.
I think he's my longest beam deer. Those are monster beams. Real heavy at the bases.
Bases are huge.
Almost.
They are.
What was he curd on bases? Like 6, close to 6.
One's 5 and 7. The other one's 5 and 4.
Yeah. Just heavy and holds it well. 20-inch spread. I mean, just about a good 9-pointer as you can talk about. You don't see him much bigger than that. I had a client kill a 167 last year and had about the same amount of junk as this one. And he was just a big 9 with 3 inches of junk. This deer had 3 inches of junk, and Kurt had him at 168.
Yeah, 168 and an eighth.
Yeah,
giant 9, man.
That is
congrats. Thank you, guys.
Congrats.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was guessing him 55 to 60, and then after I seen him that first time, I'm like, he's probably 60 to 62. He's big, and he was even bigger than I thought.
You get a 9 that big, or even like a mainframe 8, because you think like there's not that much vertically that they're getting.
Yeah,
right.
you take this off, he's 160-inch 8.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. He really like legitimately 100% is what he would be.
But that bladed brow is so cool. I mean, he's
those are
character
he's got it going
for
on.
days.
Yeah.
And
stud.
One thing that this deer doesn't get credit for in a score, and scores whatever, but the thickness of like those brows are just There's so much antler mass there that you can never give it credit for.
Yeah, there's some things that deer just don't get credit for, and you get those big bladed up tines or heavy mass up in the tines. You just don't get credit for it. But
I have
it
a
really
love-hate
adds to
relationship with the Boone and Crockett scoring
system. Yeah,
I love it. I get it. But I've been very opinionated on lately what I think the clubs need to change to stay alive. And I always vent to Bucky. Bucky, like, sorry, Bucky, we love you. But I'm always just like, all right, this, what the fuck are they doing? And he's like, I get it, dude. I get it. I mean, like, I think he's just listening to me.
Dude, I get it.
Well, I think he knows the thoughts and opinions that I have are not from out of thin air.
Yeah.
Right.
It's because I do care about like, the future of the clubs because we need them.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's like, the gross score thing. It's like, yeah, they list your gross score, but it doesn't get the same glory as the net score. And I understand for like records, for like the, that's different. But we're not killing deer that are the top 10 of all time.
Well, and when you talk to 97% of hunters, they don't give a shit about the net score. They want to know what it grossed. They want to know what he was in the timber walking
what he
around.
had.
How much of antler is there?
Yeah, how big was he?
That's
How big was he? He wasn't 139 net. He's 170 gross. Like that's what people want to know.
Yeah. How much antler does he have? You know what I mean? It's like length of points. Tell me.
Yep.
I don't give a fuck if one side was 4 and the other side was 2 inches. Are we taking 2 off?
No, where the exception is when you have a deer that's like mirror image, and then you got to appreciate how perfect they are. But that is like for me, 97% of the time.
Yeah, we always do appreciate them.
Yeah.
I appreciate the deer no matter what.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is a deer. I mean, I can break down that deer in net to kind of prove my point, but I won't.
Yeah, a 9-pointer is going to get destroyed. You're always going to lose that tine.
Yeah, like Austin, like Austin, you got a buck? He's like, yeah, it's about 130. And then you show me a picture. I'm like, what the hell?
Dude, here's the thing. Growing up, I love Pope and Young, right? I've been a measurer for Pope and Young since I was 19, and I killed some really good deer young, and I would show guys the score, my buck, and they'd be like, what'd that go? And I'm like, oh, he's like netted one. I have one buck that's 160 gross, he nets 135. He's an 8 with no brows, basically, and a kicker. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. And I didn't even like think like, oh, they're wanting to know what he grosses.
Yeah.
I was so
you were in it,
sculpted by the young brain by like, oh, only net only. And then as I got a little bit older, I'm like, fuck that. You're like, I'm diminishing this deer that's a fucking hammer for the net score.
Right.
So I would like to see the clubs give the same amount of glory they do to the net. List them both, and I know they do list them, but when you get a certificate, it's only the net. Give it both the glory. I want to know what the deer grew, what he was, and it is neat to see the net, especially when you're talking typicals. That's
true.
But unless I'm in the top 20 of giant typicals of all time, I don't give a fuck. What it nets, you know?
Nets are for catching butterflies.
Gross green, baby.
Yeah, butterflies.
That also, for butterflies, is funny as fuck. Nets are for butterflies is a t-shirt.
Yes,
we got
it
that.
is.
Nets are for catching butterflies.
So,
wheels are for cars and nets are for butterflies.
That's
I
right.
like that.
But that being said, I am going to try and enter more deer than I have in the past. We've been so busy that I haven't done any entries for Pope and Young. And I think I'm going to start doing some entries and stuff again. I'm a little more motivated now than I have been. I'm hot and cold with it. I just have opinions. I think the club could change. Great thing is Scott Bakken's like the second vice president or something for Pope and Young. I don't know what his title is, but legit,
nice.
He is. And Scott challenges the club to think outside the box because the perception of Pope and Young, and I don't care if somebody from Pope and Young listens, I think they need to hear it, is old white lame dudes in fucking suit coats. Mm-hmm. That's what I think of when I think Pope and Young. And when I was there, a 19-year-old kid at my fucking measurer's class, it was old white dudes in suit coats. And I was like, they probably thought I was, why am I here? Why am I there? But I just think there needs to be some young, in tune, youthful people to have a say. And I think the old heads need to listen, and they wonder why memberships are down.
Yeah, if they want the club to survive, they better listen.
Yeah, and I'm not saying keep the definition of a bow and arrow. Keep the ethics, keep the fair chase affidavit forms, all about that, all about it. But let's make it easy for the hunter. Fuck the drying period. Yeah. All right. Unless it's like a top contender for the record or whatever.
Yeah, right.
If I measure Austin's deer today, like I did, Austin's excited about this deer.
Let me put it in the book. Yeah.
Yeah. Here, I'll enter you right now. I will print your certificate and give you back your score sheet, have it entered in the book. I'll take your payment and you will leave with your certificate while you're excited.
Yeah.
You have no problem paying the entry fee because you're jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have double the entries.
Double the entries, double the income. You get a guy that shoots his first buck and say it's 125 even, the Pope and Young minimum for a typical. Say it's 125 even, and I green score it for him, which I've done a lot. I've green scored a lot of deer and said, come back at your 60-day drying period. I'll remeasure it, and we'll get it entered in the book. When that guy comes in with a 125-inch deer flat, like, oh, dude, you just made it. It's awesome. You get your first Pope and Young record book deer. Let's get them entered. I'll see you in 60 days. That dude might go back and he's all excited. He's telling people like, oh, it's 125. And he might just be like, yeah, he's only 125 over a 60-day span of like the excitement wearing off. He's like, I don't want to enter it. I got my score sheet.
Yeah. Yep. I know what he scores.
I know what he is. I don't need to enter it. But if I'm like, look, dude, it's this much money. It's $35 or whatever. We'll submit your payment. Here's everything.
Be part of the history.
You're in the book. You're part of the record
Yeah.
book forever. That dude leaves. Fuck yeah, look at this certificate. I'm in the book. Don't give him 60 days to lose his enthusiasm about it. Well, you're leaving money, support, and records on the table to just get dissipated.
Yeah. Well, and every guy wants to see the biggest number out of his deer. Like, don't make him dry down 2 inches. Let the guy take the green score.
And I guess the drying period's, from what I understand, is only for sheep. So it's like, all right, on antlered animals, what are we doing then?
Yeah.
Like when a guy wants
to
to get it done.
if it's a contender for a record, then yes, it has to go through a drying period. But if not, then just give him the gross green score.
Well, and even then too, like a lot of guys that shoot like caribou and shit up north, a lot of those skull plates get split. Your skull plate gets split. You're not eligible to measure for the record book anyway.
Right.
Let those guys fucking take their antlers home, enter the book there. That way they don't have to leave it up there, and it's a pain in the ass for everybody. Like,
yep.
That might not be what some of the senior members of Pope and Young want to hear, or Boone and Crockett, but I'm right. I really feel that I'm right.
Yeah, well, I think everybody's on board with you.
Yeah. I want to know what he scored out of the woods.
Yeah.
I don't like why. Yeah. I don't care what he is 60 days later.
Yeah, you got dudes putting dowel rods in between the rack and shit. Like,
I want to know what he was walking around.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what he was. I want to know what he scored.
I don't want to know what he is dead 60,
Yeah. That being said,
later, who cares about that?
I am a member of Pope and Young. I'm a measure of Pope and Young. I do support them. I get it. It's important. But we gotta make it more convenient for the hunter and act on excitement if we want to stick around for a while.
Change is good.
It's not ruining the program. Now, if I measure this deer for Austin, he comes in, I'm like, I submit the entry and Pope and Young sees the entry and they go, man, this is a top contender for one of the big world class.
Then we wait 60 days.
Yeah, top whatever. Hey, we're gonna net this deer out. The panel's gonna go through it. Same whole deal.
Yeah.
But if it's a 140, let's get it in the book and get the money for the club.
Let's
and
take some money
for the club.
Yep.
Like you said earlier, what are we doing?
Yeah. Let the hunter have their fulfillment.
I know.
I've been building this up. I've been thinking a lot about it.
Yep. Let's be honest. If you shoot a 140, Kurt scores it at 140. And they go come back in 60 days, like, I don't know, he's 140. Like,
I don't want a smaller score. I want that score.
Why would I come back?
Yeah.
Like, I already know what it scores.
Well, Bucky's done a good job with me because when I killed these deer, he's like, you gonna enter them? I was like, no. Because he nets Boone. And I'm like, nah, I don't really care. I always thought it'd be neat to have like that Boone and Crockett certificate. And he's kind of like, well, dude. And I'm like, well, let me think about it.
Dude.
So he comes in next week, and we're going to enter a bunch of my deer that I don't have entered yet. I think I'm going to set his record for most entries for one person.
Awesome.
So I think I'll have 22 total whitetails in the book, I think.
That's impressive.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I wasn't even going to do it at all. And he kind of talked me into it. And even then, it's like, I don't know. I could change my mind by then.
Yeah.
The thing is, you know what it is? I told him, I was like, if we're going to do this, we got to do this when you're in because I'm excited right now and I've been thinking about it. But I'll tell you, dude, just full transparency, in another week, I might not care.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of annoyed by they are always asking for support, be a member, measure more to get the entries, but they make it so fucking complicated.
Yeah.
It's deer. It's not. We're not trying to do insider trading with politics here. We're trying to.
It's not the Pentagon.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We just want to know what he scores.
Yeah, and that's what I think. I think Scott Bakken's. I don't know if I wouldn't say undervalued because I don't know how they actually like treat him, but I think Scott Bakken is very valuable because I know Scott and I are probably a lot on the same wavelength, or I guess you probably say on the same spectrum. But you know what I mean? Kind of. It's like.
Yep.
Sorry for this rant that I'm going on.
No, it's fine.
No, I think it pertains to what we're talking about.
And we talked about earlier with the bladed brow and all the different mass that you have, and you don't get score for that, and then obviously you get rid of the 4 on this side, and then you got to score him this way, and man, if there was that displacement.
Well, let's just take this deer for example. How bad does this deer get destroyed on the score sheet? What's his net score? Because he's only got 3 inches of abnormal, so he doesn't qualify for a non-typical. That takes 15.
Yeah, we're going to trash this deer talking about.
Well, I'm guessing like 140-ish.
All right, so he nets as is 149 and 2/8.
Yeah.
He has 15 and 3/8 inches of deduction.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Deduction.
Yep. Deduction.
Gets taken away.
Yep. So who wants to go get...
And that's
a certificate that says your deer's in the 140s when he looks like that. Nobody wants that.
It's not right. It's just not accurate. It's so 20. This is how they do it. The spread credit. So spread credit. Add together. Spread credit. 20 and 0/8. Column 1, which is the right side. 68 and 0/8. Column 2. 76 and 5/8. He grosses 164 and 3/8. Add the 3 and 4/8 inches of abnormals. Total gross score of 168 and 1/8. But he doesn't get that credit for that 3 and 4/8 according to Pope and Young net system.
Because he's under 12 inches of non-typical.
15 inches now.
Okay.
And that gets added to his deduction from side to side. So, all right, here's an example for people that are confused on that. This deer's right antler beam is 26 and 5/8. His left antler beam is 27 and 2/8. That takes 5/8 of deduction off of the score because there's a difference in size. So for his brow tines, for example, one of them is 6 and 3/8, the other is 5 and 2/8. An inch and an eighth gets taken from this deer because his brow tines are uneven.
Right. So basically, what you got to do is have a genetically enhanced whitetail, high fence raised, turned out into the wild, a perfect Barbie doll deer.
Yeah. If it's not a Milo Hansen buck, he's probably going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Austin, let's talk about the G4. The G4 on your deer, that's where most over
What do you
half
got
your
there?
deduction.
7.5?
Yeah, this gets cut off.
7 and 2/8.
Okay.
Guess what? Deduction.
Gone.
Yep.
The whole point, the whole time.
Yep.
Take it away.
So there's
A
7 and 2/8
9-pointer
of your
is
15 and 3/8.
I'll get my Sawzall.
A
I was saying, grab a
9-pointer is
Sawzall,
the
cut her
worst
off.
deer to shoot. It's always going to get screwed when you're looking at a typical score.
And I get it. It's based off like what is the most perfect.
Pristine, perfect, typical. Yep.
But I almost like wonder if there's another, like, I don't want to be like, let's create another scoring system because I don't really agree with that either. I know there are others and good for them and I respect it. But I almost think that they need to do, okay, fine. You want to keep these same records so you don't have to go back in history and make adjustments. I get it. It's kind of weird. You end too far. But add another layer to it. Add a column on the score sheet that right by the final score, I have a total inches score.
That's what they definitely need.
You know how fucking it's a sheet. It's an Excel formula.
Yeah.
What I've always thought.
Do it.
You had to put it. You had to put it off to the side, just like so everyone knows the final.
I have to add in remarks section, mention any
That
abnormalities
pisses
or
me
unique
off.
qualities. I put official measure by Kurt Geyer, gross score 168 and 1/8.
Yep.
Yeah, why don't we put that in like 48 font and then put the net
big
score
bold letters.
and
What
like
I've always
8.
thought, because deer with non-typical characteristics are a lot more common than perfect typicals, why shouldn't the scoring system be based off the non-typicals? And then if you have a deer that would qualify as a beautiful typical, then it has to have less than 5 inches of deductions to qualify as a typical, and then you score it and appreciate the net typical score. To me, that makes more sense because that animal's just that rare.
Yeah.
You make it a 5-inch or less, deduction requirement to get in. To me, that makes a lot more sense than dinging all these nice deer that are not non-typicals that have 7 to 10 inches of junk
Right.
You know, that's your average deer walking around.
Yeah,
Or two,
exactly.
at final score, pretty easy to add 3 columns. Final score, which would be what Pope and Young wants the net, that sets their record standards. Get it on board. But then here's the gross, 164 and 5/8, but it's not actually his gross. That's his gross typical
That's his
score.
gross typical frame. That's not all of his abnormals.
So give me net if he's a typical. Give me the net. Give me his gross typical and give me total inches. Bam, bam, bam. 3 boxes in a row. Pope and Young records this, but when I get my certificate, list all 3.
Yep.
It's set a formula for it. Somebody can figure out how to do it.
Yep.
It's not a big ask. And
Add
it
a
gives
column.
the glory to the deer.
That's it.
On all levels. That's it. It makes the hunter feel good. And from a statistic standpoint, if I didn't shoot this deer and I'm like, oh, this is a score sheet from your deer. Oh, dude, he netted 149. Man, look at that total inches number. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a lot of inches.
to me, it's interesting for people who love deer to be analytical and look at the numbers. I think
Yeah, it's crazy you don't have a gross column. You know, like you can't look at that score sheet
It's really gross.
and
No,
look
you
at
gotta
it
do-
and be like, man, that's what he actually grossed.
They call it the
The column's
disgusting
gross?
It's gross.
score.
There's not a gross column.
Yeah.
The nasty.
It's the disgusting score. And I,
Come along, my friends.
that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt some people like in the politics of Pope and Young. But
It's true though.
I think we speak for the majority of hunters. When I say the majority of hunters, I'm saying almost all of them
Yeah.
confidently. I mean, what's it hurt to list everything you could get for the deer?
I've never heard of anybody being mad about not getting credit for their gross score. Like everybody's on the same page. That's what we all want.
That's what I mean. Let's go. It's easy. It costs no money and little effort. Make the formula and it'll just plug it in.
Auto-populate.
Yeah. So anyway, Pope and Young, if you're listening, or Boone and Crockett, take that from the working class, the people who are living it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, whatever. I get it. But continue to lose money and die over time.
That's
It's reality.
bottom line.
Bottom line. If you ain't moving around, you ain't moving around.
You ain't first, you're last.
That's right, dude.
I heard that once.
Ricky Bobby, I think, said that. The great Ricky Bobby.
Hey, that doesn't even make sense.
And he won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, he didn't.
By the way, this episode's brought to you by Fig Newtons.
The Jackhawk 9000.
The bows we're shooting now are now made by Fig Newton. It's made out of just like shitty.
It's dangerous and
fucking snack
inconvenient, but
I do love Big
Newtons.
It's great. I learned today,
Biting into it.
setting up Christmas lights, that Austin has never seen the movie Elf.
Oh, really?
Not a big elf.
Wow.
Goddamn.
He didn't
It's
even
a
know
really
what it
good
was.
movie.
I do know most movies, but that's one that I never got
That's a
into. I
great
guess
movie.
maybe it
Watch
didn't
that.
have dirty enough humor for me.
It's the best Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Better than A Christmas Story.
Different, but yes, better. The kids watch it. I've watched Elf so many times, and
So
I
many
don't mind.
times.
Every time it comes on, I'm just like, we're watching Elf again.
It's pretty
Okay,
dope.
I'll watch it.
Okay. Thank you.
That raccoon scene's going to remind me of you now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. By the way, the raccoon video is posted on socials.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
Yeah, Norwal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the one movie I have seen. If I watched other movies as much as I've seen Elf, I'd watch all the same movies you guys have.
Yeah, true.
You'd be caught up.
I'd be caught up. Yeah.
You'd be caught up.
Yeah. I ain't watching any movies. Austin, stellar season.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Hell of a
it.
Congrats,
season.
buddy.
Congrats, dude.
Good job.
Thank you
dude.
guys.
4-day run.
So this was actually the first time I've ever sat back to back and killed back to back deer. So
Sheesh.
that's man,
Something
Damn,
going
we both
on.
did that, didn't we?
Back to back, brothers.
It was a 4-day run after a 40-day run.
Right. It took
That's what I did
it
as
took
well, yeah.
37 days to get there, but
So
But you
No.
got there.
I was
I got
the
there.
10th and the 14th, and you were the 30th.
29th
29th.
and 1st.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Sick.
Back to back sits. I did the same.
Yeah, I took one day off in between back-to-back sits. Yeah, it's crazy. You
I'm
know,
jealous.
You're having the shittiest season. It wasn't a shitty season. I was in a great mood. I was having fun. I knew that there were shooters on the farm, but I just wasn't. It wasn't coming together for me. So that's just how it goes sometimes.
You weren't getting the encounters that you were
Yep.
hoping to.
Kurt's back in the corner watching me. He's like, dude, I'd killed that thing 5 fucking times by now. What are you doing? You're fucking around.
What are you doing?
Listen to me, for one. That's Papa Dave's old trick. He'd kill a deer and he's just like, clean his fingernails, not make eye contact with you. Oh, yeah, you still hunting?
Yeah, still hunting.
Still out there scaring them around, huh?
That's pretty cold out, huh?
Educating deer.
Yeah. How many does you blow out of that field, you fucking idiot?
Just educating deer, ain't you?
Yeah. Wow.
Not looking at you once.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't have done
Just
that.
look at me.
Fucking just biting my own nails. Like, what a dick.
But when
You
you
scared
grind
three
that
dogs?
hard and it finally comes together, it's just that much sweeter.
way better.
It doesn't get
Makes it
doesn't get
worth it.
old.
Yeah.
It's way better.
No.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Motivator. It's late. We're in the late season now. Ross, where you at, brother?
Oh, well.
Brother.
Trying. Just trying. Well, it'll come together. Just waiting
Doug,
patiently.
Where you at?
Me and Doug are in the same boat here. Well, same canoe with a hole in it. We're just
Yeah.
Hey,
paddling away.
It's been a season.
drastic times call for drastic measures.
I got another tag yet too, so.
Yeah, see?
Eric.
I'll bust out the muzzleloader.
What?
What? I didn't say that.
Whoops.
What does that mean?
Kapow.
Fucking musket. What did you say earlier? What was your musket talk?
Gosh, what was that?
Who cometh out in my fieldeth?
Lay death to thy heathen.
Yeah. What? I think you gotta shave.
I think so.
You don't have many options either, Doug.
No, can only go one way.
Your hair. Something
Oh,
crazy
my
with your
hair.
hair.
Okay.
Eyebrows.
No.
I like the one eyebrow move. Maybe
Yeah.
put those like slits in them like all the young kids do.
It's even worse.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, do something with the hair. Dr.
just-
Fillet.
I'll do
Full
something
blown
with the hair.
Dr. Fillet. I think that's what you got to do.
Do some lightning bolts in the side or something, you know? Take it back to third grade.
Dr. Fillet.
Shave the top.
I'll figure something out.
Yeah, you
We'll,
gotta do
we'll
something.
figure something out.
I love that everybody's coming at you with all this hair detail.
Well, we haven't got to you yet.
Yeah,
Oh,
your
shit.
your time's coming.
Never mind.
I noticed Ross
I
has
gotta
like
take a
Ross has
piss.
like a mini beard in his beard. You see that? Yeah. It's like what?
He
I
shaves
can't
the
even grow a
off,
beard.
there's
This
just
guy's got
another
two.
one underneath it.
Yeah.
That's Ross's soul patch.
He's like, see, I shaved.
That's my spare.
That's my spare.
Yeah.
The shave thing is, he'd shave the next day. It'd look like that again.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. I think that's what you got to do. And Ross, I think something's got to happen.
Braid it.
He already told me he was shaving.
Center
I
braid.
think didn't you say for New
Cornrow your
Year's?
beard.
Yeah, I said I was going to shave for New Year's.
Ross would look, dude, you would look fucking gnarly with like a Fu Manchu.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Or just do
braid
like,
it.
It'd get
braid
heavy.
it.
do like Austin, literally come down a bit, but don't trim it at all. Just shave the beard. Just leave
Okay.
them long.
All
Twist
right.
it.
Dude, if you had just a mustache and just kept this, it would be gnarly.
I don't even know what you
fuck.
would look like. I can't even picture it because
Dude,
your
it-
beard's so huge.
You'd
be
probably be
scary.
intimidating.
I got a really small chin. I don't know.
Do you?
I have a really
I don't even. You don't even know.
You haven't
You
seen
remember.
it in 20 years.
Didn't see his chin since he was 16.
It's not even there anymore.
When's the last time you shaved?
Dude, I don't.
And as
8,
long
10
as I've
years?
known you, you've had a beard. And that's been, what,
Dude, I had-
2014, 2012?
I had. Fuck, dude. I had chops when I was in 8th grade.
That's
I believe
Like
it.
clear down to my jawline.
I believe it.
I'm not kidding.
I know, I
My
believe
gosh.
it.
My 8th grade pictures, I got full blown chops.
God, they were just born to grow hair.
Like I needed a suit and a cigar for sure.
Damn.
For those
This
pictures.
18-year-old in our 8th grade class.
Yeah. Buying beer
outta
over
here,
here.
yeah.
What the hell?
Smoking cigarettes.
Grandpa Bill would have been impressed.
Oh, that's where I got it.
That man could rock a set of chops like
Yep.
no other.
Yep.
His grandfather
Yeah, is that good?
chopped out hard, dude, way down.
All the time.
Forever.
As
Maybe
long
that's
as
what
I
you
can
do.
remember him, yeah.
Full on burns all the way down.
Chops all the way down. No beard, just huge fucking chop.
Honor the bill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Do it.
What would you do? Well, like really, like what would you be willing to consider to make
I'm
some
gonna.
changes?
I'm gonna start with the chops and a full blown handlebar. But
Yeah, there we go.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, just I don't know, something like that. But
Just
I'll
go
start
right here. Just go.
I'll start with that, and if that doesn't
You'll be
work,
good.
then we'll start pruning from there on. So
Start pruning.
we'll just see.
Yeah. All right. Dr. Fillet, Doug.
We'll talk. We'll talk about it. I'll figure something out.
I'll figure something out. One way or another.
Or hear me out. Just for men.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
That's a drastic change, but you get to keep everything.
Just a hard.
Just for men,
Just
what?
the dark night
Just a
color.
hard black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hard black.
Oh,
Billy
yeah.
Mays.
Yeah.
Just,
Tom Selleck.
yeah, just jet black.
The deer will see walking through the dark with that thing.
It's not white.
That's how black it is, though.
So I got
Darker than night.
Darker than night.
It's Wesley Snipes black.
Bucky's coming down to hunt with me here in like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And he saw the success that the mustache brought. So
Uh-oh.
he called me. He's like, I'm shaving. I'm coming down. He said, I'm rocking the mustache and I'm dyeing it black. I'm going to intimidate Doug when I get
Oh,
done.
jeez.
I told him to rock straight neck beard. He's like, I'm not doing that.
Did you intimidate the deer?
Yeah. They're going to be like, damn.
Damn. That's a nice stat.
That thing is
Crazy.
He's dark.
Like, you know when deer do the bob and weave look at you?
Like looking at a caterpillar.
It's just like,
It's too much contrast there.
yeah.
What's it all mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
My God. All right. What a fun episode. Congrats on your season.
Congrats,
Congrats,
Austin.
any fellas.
Any add-ins? Any fun? No.
Nope.
You know what to do. Go shoot your bow. We love you. Peace.